Well. Good evening. Happy Friday to everybody. So, busy week, as everybody knows. We had a big Billigan's Island episode on, what was that, Wednesday night. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. For me, it was very, very fun, in particular because it was a full-on family affair for us. We basically involved everybody from my youngest daughter to my oldest son, and everybody had a hand in that episode, whether it was video editing or pretty much every aspect of that show. Even getting the pie in the face, although nobody in the family helped me clean up the mess. As I mentioned the other day, I've learned my lesson. Pie in the face, you got to be prepared for it. Lots of plastic on the floor, plastic on the desk, and that's the only way to go. It will, if it ever happens again, I will be prepared for that. Thank you, Jason. It was a very excellent work. I would have to agree. And Larry, nice to see you. Alfredo, it was classic. Matt, good evening, of course. All help out. Happy Friday. Thank you, Jeff. And man, everybody's in here tonight. Harry as well. Thank you. Ardath, always good to see you. Mr. Red Jack, always happy to have you in here as well. And thanks for commenting on Anthony's video over on his channel too. He was very happy. He always likes getting comments. You guys should know that. Anthony puts a lot of effort into his weekly videos and even daily videos. And I know that he doesn't get a ton of comments on them. So you want to make Anthony's day, just leave a comment on his daily videos, whether they're on Facebook or YouTube, or I know he simulcasts it all over the place, even over on Instagram and everything too, which we do not do. But he does like it. He's always proud of getting one of those. And hey, Terry, how are you? So so as far as that show goes, that was I kind of went into that show thinking nobody was going to buy anything. I thought it was just going to be everybody's there just to watch the Billigan episode. So I was still pleasantly surprised that we had such a good turnout as far as everybody in the audience, which was pretty high. We stayed over 315 people between Facebook and YouTube for that whole show. And at the end of the day, Mike and Anthony still sold, what was it, like $44,000 in art. So all is good. And yep, you can see Dino is going to be staring at you all evening. And Jordan's over here. He's hiding. But Dino, hey, hello. Nice to see you. So you get to look at yourself all night, Dino. So it's just the way the shirt's going today. Yeah, that is a nice shirt. Every amateur dueling dealer should have to put together some kind of creative material. Maybe, it's a shirt, it's a hat, it's a patch. I don't know. But that should just become part of the lexicon of becoming a member of the ADD group. So did I like all the Billigan names? Yeah, I did actually. And lots of good stuff this week. Yeah, if anybody missed the show on Tuesday when we're with the sci-fi art collectors, we had Doug Ellis, Glenn Crane, Victor Drix, and John Davis. And it was a really good show. I've always wanted to do something. I'd asked Glenn many months ago to have him on the show. I think when the big auction of his was going on with Heritage, and couldn't manage to work it out at that time. So I thought it might be good to PR while, talk about his collection, but we couldn't get the thing worked out. So it was good to have him on that show. I've never met him before, but have always admired his collection. So it was very cool to get him on the show on Tuesday with Doug and everything. And Doug's pitched a few other ideas for future shows as well. So I'm sure we are going to take care of, filling that void. There were a couple of collector names that came up that they wanted to talk about. So I might end up doing some more group shows with them in the future, which would be cool. And I'll hit the like button. Thanks, Nick. I liked your show this evening. I guess it was evening. Everybody, Nick has a great show at 7 p.m. on Friday evenings on the EXP, where he does his hour of power, showing off artwork for sale from his collection. So you always should be checking that out. And thanks it was good. I watched the whole show. Even Maureen was there. She said thank you when she was breezing in and having me do some work for her. So let's see. So just reading through the comments here so I don't forget it or miss anything. There's no like button on the YouTube iPhone app. You know what I mean? Encore, I bet you they layer it over the video in some weird way. I don't know how they do it, but all right. Wes, what are my thoughts? I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts really, other than Glenn and Will have been friends of mine for a very long time, and if they want to do their own thing, they're more than welcome to do their own thing. I've got nothing, nothing, no ill will against them. It's like, been asked the question a few times, and my general answer, and here, let me mute that laptop there, is just that, you can't sell somebody else's art, right? There's no competition between shows. At the end of the day, one dealer's got his art over here, another one's over here. I'm working with these two guys here. You can't sell each other's art. So art's just going to sell one way or another, whether they do it online or they do it through their websites or they do whatever other means they want to do. So, yeah, the high road is always the better road to be on. So let's see. Oh, so Ankur found the hi, chat first. All right. Yeah, that's right. Because on your phone, the chat actually layers over probably this side of your screen. So that probably makes sense. You have to get rid of the chat just so you can see the likes. All right. Well, Dealing Dealers is OG. Exactly, Dino. But yeah, other than that, I have nothing bad about it at all. I don't have any ill will towards anybody. It's just, it is what it is. It's been talked about for quite some time. It just was announced recently, so nothing was a surprise, and I got nothing to say about it other than that. But 21 likes. So yeah, that's right. We can get it over the 21 like mark. But other than that, no, I think it's going to be good. Again, you can't sell anybody else's art. I don't care if they sell it in a live chat or not. Or you sell it over on Nick's show. It's all just selling, and so I don't care at the end of the day. I mean, I'm just having fun with what we do. I know that ours is a very original show, and it continues to be fun. I know everybody continues to thoroughly enjoy it, and like I was talking with somebody today, and they're like, "Where do you get the ideas?" And we really get the ideas just from hanging out with you in the chat and watching what you guys talk about. I mean, I didn't call myself Billigan. Somebody in the chat did. I'd love to go back through time and see who called me Billigan, because it's things like that makes us that feeds the creativity for that show, and just to try to add in the filler and the memes. I'm 53, so when I grew up watching Saturday night TV, it'd be Friday evening television after the news, or if it was Saturday afternoon shows, they were always got horror movies and monster movies and all that, but they typically were on these like Glardy. For us in Cleveland, it was Big Chuck and Little John, or Big Chuck and Houlihan. They would have these fillers. They're sitting around in their pajamas, and they'd show little 30-second clips of just jokes, whatever it was. And that's the kind of humor that I grew up on. And so we didn't have that intention when we started Dueling Dealers, but certainly after that first episode, it was obvious that there was a lot of opportunity for that kind of fun and humor to go into the show. So that's why we went that path. It's just it's the kind of thing that I grew up on and I like doing. And Mike's from Northeast Ohio too, so he kind of grew up on the exact same shows that I did. And while we didn't talk about it at the time, those were the things that we just enjoyed and wanted to kind of infuse into the show. And for me, it's infectious and fun. And again, it's we get to involve everybody in the whole family here when doing these things. And the Billigan episode was just crazy, because you figure Anthony and Sharon filmed their stuff over in New Jersey. Mike and I filmed his stuff over at his house. And then my girls filmed their stuff here. So we literally had to composite 3 and 4 different bits of video into that final episode. It was a crazy amount of work. So it was, but it was fun. Again, I literally just put the whole script together, storyboarded it, and sent it off to Anthony, with real explicit directions on what I wanted him to do. And exactly, Big Chuck, Terry, see, those guys were great. The streak episode. As a little kid, all I wanted to see was that guy run naked, even though he was wearing his underpants, through the grocery store. And they wouldn't show that clip. Like, they'd only show it like once a month. So you pretty much had to watch that show every Friday night in hopes of seeing that particular bit, that skit that they would do. So that's all. That's very much where it came from. So 6 more likes to 30. Thank you, Nick. Anyway, I'm sorry reading through all these. I'm not paying too close attention. Not sure that it isn't attention to that. I have no idea, guys. At the end of the day, it's a huge, okay, it's not huge, right? This isn't the biggest hobby in the world. We all know each other. We all have to get along. And I've, as running CAF, Dueling Dealers is just a unique position that has put me in because I'm working sort of as a seller or at least an arbiter for sales. So I don't know. I never really felt uncomfortable with it until recently. So, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. There's plenty of opportunity for everybody out there, and who knows what the heck's going to happen when shows come back. I firmly believe that Dueling Dealers will continue to be a weekly show. Maybe, and I don't really see why it wouldn't, even with the shows coming back. I can't see how that's going to impact what those guys are selling and bringing to the to the show. Sorry, just reason to making it. No, of course not. Exactly, Fred. No, there's no reason whatsoever. And yes, it's the best hobby in the world. I completely agree. I'm so happy to be a part of it, just like everybody else here. Right, and Sean Clancy, I was going to mention that. I hope everybody checked out Sean's interview last night too. He was he and I've known him for a long time. We've never really chatted directly, and I've always admired his collection, and I thought he had some interesting perspectives on commissions and recreation. So yeah, and bootlegging. Yes, those tickets do go on sale next week. I can tell you a lot of comic art dealers are on the fence about New York Comic Con, primarily because they know they're going to be limiting the number of attendees. I don't think it's been stated. Maybe it has, how many tickets are going to sell this time around. But they actually have gone out of their way to increase the pricing of the booths. So they're raising the price of the booths and limiting the number of people through the door. So not really a recipe for success if you're an art dealer or let alone a comic dealer or whoever else is going to be setting up at those shows. So there's a bit of concern from the art dealers that I've talked about. Then it's one day. Oh, okay. No, I did not know that. No more 4-day badges, only single-day badges. Well, that's it's not surprising, I guess. They're trying to give more people the opportunity to get in, but I don't know. That doesn't sound like a very good idea. But well, we'll see. I may or may not go this year. Probably a lot depends on whether Mike goes. Or Mark. I haven't hung out with Mark there or worked in his booth in a long time, but I have helped Mike several times working at his booth. So we'll see. But it's a show I'm not going to miss. Honestly, I would rather they didn't do the show and we can all just wait till 2022 and feel a whole lot better about getting out to shows. Do I ever go back and rewatch an episode from West? No, but my wife was telling me. I was just saying, Maureen was telling me she hates it when I say my wife. Maureen was telling me the other day that she wanted me to go back and watch the first couple of episodes of the Dueling Dealers show, and then also go back and look at some of the earlier Comic Art live shows with Mike Willenglatt, just to kind of see how my delivery has changed over time, but probably the length of my hair and all this other stuff. But she was very adamant that I should go back. She had some observations that she thought I should. I don't know. Who knows what she thought, but she wanted me to look at those earlier ones. So. Marcus, that's not worth repeating. But they, at any rate, that's all there is to say about all that. And I wish those guys well. I emailed them earlier today, just saying that, to your success, I hope it works out. And I really do. At the end of the day, they're my friends, and I hope that it doesn't make any rifts between us whatsoever, because it shouldn't. It just shouldn't. It's just not. That's just not what. Again, the hobby's way too small to have enemies. I mean, there's enough of that already. We don't need any more of that, and I certainly don't want to play a role in it. So I would encourage everybody to check out their show on Sunday at 2 p.m. See, I'm saying it right here. And anyway, so just to go, since we're talking about different live streams that are going on, I printed out a list so I don't forget, because before I go on vacation, I have a pile of shows that are coming up in the next 2 weeks. And the 18th is when I leave, June 18th, and I'll be back on the 28th. So leading up to the 18th, what we've got scheduled so far is we should be doing a Comic Link recap. Well, even before then, I've got the Collector Show on Sunday at 9 p.m., which is going to be a lot of fun, as always. I hope everybody tunes into those. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to get some filler in for that, because I'm going to be gone for 2 Sundays while on that vacation. So hopefully we can, if we might have to miss one of those shows, hopefully it's only one and not 2. But if we can get somebody to kind of sit in and moderate that, I'd love to be able to keep that show going while I'm on vacation. But then on, let's see, Monday, I've got my list is such a mess here. Monday is the Comic Link recap, and that'll be with Mike, Will, and Glenn. And then on Tuesday, I'm doing a special. It's going to be a Heritage auction, signature auction preview. They're going to show some stuff like I've done with Comic Connect and Hakes in the past. I'm going to have Joe Madalena, Todd Hignite, and Ed Jaster on that show. And so not only will we be doing a preview, but we will also go over just their thoughts on the direction that the hobby's gone in the last 12 months. And it should be an opportunity for anybody who has any questions that they would like to ask Heritage as well, for you guys to sit in on and offer them up to them. I'm going to do my best to moderate that chat as things, as it goes on, and just see how that goes. They really want to maybe do 3 or 4 of these a year. So I think it's a good idea. I think it's great to get Heritage on the show. I haven't had that opportunity myself yet. And I did talk with Josh as well. So we might be doing some preview stuff with them as well, and just getting their thoughts on the hobby as well. I've had a lot of people want me to engage more with the auction houses and get them, on screen and just getting their opinions on why things have been like they have been for the last year, and what their feelings are for the next 12 months or whatever. I mean, that's it. And there have been a lot of questions about estate planning. And then I would say that on the Collector Conversation on Sunday, Carl Choi is going to be on that show. And he actually went through this whole estate planning process when he had COVID. And he's going to do a 15-20 minute presentation on the things that he learned while doing that. And so for those of you with questions or concerns with regards to estate planning, I would definitely encourage you to be in on the Sunday show and to ask Carl some questions, because the conversation he and I had just via email was pretty interesting. And I think there's a lot of insightful stuff there that we all can take a little bit away from that. So some of us have read comics in the last 4 years. I actually read several a month now. But okay, so after Heritage, I've got then we of course will do Dueling Dealers, and then I've got on the 10th, Prop Store wants to do a bit of a preview with me. So at 8 p.m. on that day, I'm going to do that show with them. Hakes actually wants to do something because their auction is starting this next Tuesday. So they want to do a little preview as well. And then supposedly I'm going to be interviewed by Coom on that night. So it won't be me interviewing somebody, it'll be somebody interviewing me. So that will be an interesting take on it. Coom was actually, he set up at Comic Art Live as a test because he wanted to kind of experiment with it and then have that as part of his interview with me. So I think that'll be fun. I mean, I can't say that I've been interviewed in a long time or on my own show, certainly. So that'll be fun to do. And C-Link was crazy, Tim. I completely agree. There was a lot of interesting sales during that auction. But after that, I can tell you that I'm like I did the Gerhard show with Chuck Costas, where he had his claim sale that on a Saturday. I'll be doing another Saturday sale on the 12th with Mike Vosberg and Chuck Costas. So I haven't seen the list of the artwork, but I think it's kind of a mix of his published work and some more recent work. So I don't really know, but I've never talked with Mike before, so I thought that would be fun. When Chuck wanted to give it a try again, just to see what we could do. And again, there's another claim sale, right? It's just the world we live in right now. So I'm going to enjoy doing that. And let's see. Okay, I think they'll. Yes, I completely agree, Scott, on the Larson page from Comic Link being one of the more interesting ones from the auction. All right, so wait a minute. I got something from Urania. Okay, I haven't talked. They don't. Well, they email me every now and again. Urania Auction House. I know that they had their auction. I think it was the weekend after Comic Art Live. I didn't get a chance to follow it or really do any write-up on how it went, but that's good. I'm always curious to hear how those overseas auctions go, because I'm not able to follow them like I would a normal auction here in the States. After all of that, just trying to look through all my notes. So I've got Jimmy Palmiotti on the 17th, so that'll be fun. That'll be the night before I go on vacation. Dino is going to be interviewing Brian Ketterer for me on the channel on 6/22. I'll have Jordan as a guest on 7/1, Tony Brischler back on 7/8, and then I've got a couple other interesting ones, like a husband and wife, Sean and Adam Doty, or probably messing that, Doherty on 713. George Hodge brought them to me, and then a Tyler and his daughter Maddie, who is also an art collector, will be on with us on 715. And then on top of all of that, an amateur dueling dealer episode on Monday, June 14th, between Tatiana and Michael Lovitz. I mean, what more can we ask for in such a small window of time? But so that's so a lot going on. And as far as everything else goes, we're debating right now about whether or not we're going to do a Dueling Dealers episode while I'm on vacation. I mean, we may do it. I mean, I'm a little on the fence about it. I may want to just really take that 10 days off. But at the same time, I think it would be pretty funny to be down in the Florida Keys and doing a show from there. I mean, as long as I have good internet connection, I think, I can do a 2-hour show once while I'm down there. So June equals Comic Art Nirvana. Exactly, Dino. But anyway, so yeah, lots of stuff on there. And I've probably got another dozen people that I'm emailing with, trying to square out some of the scheduling as far as upcoming interviews. And I've got some communications going on as far as doing another amateur show in July. I'd still like to kind of have one of those every month. We're definitely going to skip the Saturday afternoon show like we had done for the Europeans early in May. We're not going to do one in June just because of the way, with me being on vacation, but we'll start those back up in July as well. I can't really say whether it'll be beginning or end, but it'll probably be more in the middle. But as soon as I have a date for that, I'll let everybody know. And I agree, Nick. Tatiana's super cool, and she's been showing me a few of the things that she's going to bring. It's going to be fun. It's primarily going to be work from her collection, not as a original art dealer, but I think she'll have a few pieces as well from a few people she reps. But primarily, it's going to be work from her own collection, and she has a phenomenal collection. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she brings in Dueling Dealers live from Margaritaville. It could be a lot like that. I was thinking of having a drink because why not, right? There's a lot of live streams where they've always got something on the rocks. I always tend to wait till after the show to have a beer or whatnot. But I thought during that show, if I was ever going to have a drink in my hand, it would probably be that one. Gators, yeah. Anyway, so why don't we get on to the weekly update, right? And then if there's any other things that pop up while we're talking, I'm happy to answer those questions before I'll be signing off for the evening. I don't know if she's, I can't say she's going to be bringing any Turners, Tim. That was not on any of the preview lists that I've seen. But it wouldn't surprise me. But I don't know. She loves her Weems art, more than likely something. Mojitos, all right. So from this period in CAF's history, this is from May 24th through May 30th, and so. I'm just going to start off with the art dealer information, like I always do. The sales were kind of down actually for whatever reason, not terribly, 344,000. So I guess that's not a down week really, and that's compared to 392,000 the week before. Top sellers were Felix with 80,000 in sales, Comic Art Page being next, Will with just under 74,000. Then Glenn, just under 48,000. Berkey, just under 48,000. Anthony, just over $40,000. Albert, just over 30, and then that's it. I guess we can stop it there. There were a few people who had other sales, but under $10,000. So the top selling artworks from original comic art dealers from that period. Let's just fire this thing up. So like you see, 344 plus on the overall sales. This first artwork was listed as sold by Will's Comic Art Page. It sold for the asking price of $69,500. Art by Sal Buscema. It's the Avengers 91 cover from 1971. This is Beta Ray Bill issue 3. This is the cover image, but it was sold complete, if I'm not mistaken. The artist is Daniel Warren Johnson, and the price on this one from Felix was $20,000. Next up is this Neil Adams drug page, obviously. This is from Green Lantern 85, sold by Glenn at Panel Page for the asking price of 20 G's. And this is an awesome Sam Keith, minimalist kind of Marvel Comics Presents cover, but I still love it. It's from issue 87, sold by Albert Moy for the asking price of $15,000. This is from Batman Black and White, issue 4, page 1. Daniel Warren Johnson again, Felix Comic Art, and asking price of $15,000. And finally, another one from Glenn. This is from Fantastic Four 256, page 19, art by John Byrne. Of course, sold for the asking price of $10,000. And yeah, it's funny. I mean, those FF pages are definitely getting up there in price. I don't think I think I mentioned to everybody I found a FF Byrne page at Mike's house that has no FF on it, and it's mine because it's the only FF page I'll be able to afford. So hopefully I might actually pick that up this weekend. So we'll see if I can get that on my calf before I go on vacation. That would be pretty cool. Next up, auction house results. And auction house results were down a little bit as well, about the same, 314,000 in sales this week compared to 346 the week before. So kind of on par, but there was one lot that was over on Heritage that skewed these results greatly. And I'm sure somebody can tell me why, because I'm not a big Spider-Man fan, and I've never read a lot of Erik Larsen. But he had a page, which you'll see, sold for $48,000 in the Monday auction, which you never see Monday auction lots from Heritage ever really go above. I mean, it goes over 20. That's a rarity. So to have one lot go over 48,000 is pretty incredible. But I'm sure there's a significance to it. There's a lot of Marvel characters on it, but still. $48,000 for a page is pretty impressive. So why don't we show off the results? I'll show you the first 3 are from eBay, of course, and then the next 3 will be from Heritage. So eBay did sell 125,000 in art last week. They've been on a lull. This is a John Byrne commission, Superman versus Fantastic Four. The price was $5,999, but it was a make offer price, and I wasn't able to dig up what the actual cost of that was. Next up was this Richie Rich painting, which had one bidder win the auction. It was $4,000. This is by the artist Sid Cauchi, and this is a kind of a amalgamation of several Richie Rich covers that was done, I think, just as a commission. Finally, this is from eBay, the Amazing Spider-Man 245, page 2. It's got Hobgoblin on it. It's John Romita Jr., sold for $3,625. And then this is the Heritage page, the Erik Larsen one I was mentioning. This is from Spider-Man 23, page 18, $48,000. And that's $48,000 of their overall $188,000 sold during their Monday auction last week. So a big chunk of it for that one artwork. Next up is another Sergeant Fury page. These things keep going for this price, $6,600. Dick Ayers, John Tartaglione. And finally, this is a vintage artwork. It's actually a 10-page story by Rudy Pelaez from Fight Comics number 20, and it sold for $6,600. Pretty good artwork. Fire is the operative word. Yeah. But Larsen, yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking, West. In general, I couldn't figure out what was the most important part of that page that made it go for $48,000. But yeah, it's just it's pretty incredible. It's just I don't know. I'm left scratching my head sometimes on these things, but what are you going to do? The 245 went affordably. Yes, I'd agree. I kind of was thinking that one was going to be more. I watched that auction, and I know that the person who that person has a regular calf gallery, so I've seen that page before. I thought it was going to go higher, and yeah, I was a little surprised at that one as well. And see, now that okay, Ron, I did not know that. I didn't follow the whole auction completely, so another Larsen splash went for $48,000. Well, there you go. The Larsen market is hot. So, and yeah, the Fight Comics 10-page thing was really beautiful art. I know it's very rare when I see a 10-page story that I actually go and look at the other pages when I'm doing these reviews, but with that one I did, and I thought I was just pretty impressed by the art. I wasn't familiar with that particular story, and Rudy Pelaez I've seen the name before, but we're not very familiar with their work. But yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. Is that a record for a Larsen in the CAFDB? You know what? Why not? Before we go over and look at the popular stuff, I will let you know. In the auction market data, I don't know. Let's see. I should be just sharing my screen when I do these things, right? Yeah, let's pull this out. And Get that on there. So we just want to look at Larson art. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not seeing any chats going on while I'm doing it, so I apologize. And we'll order it by final bid and include all auction houses. Well, let's see. You got Amazing Spider-Man 340 cover on Heritage that sold last March 8th for $50,000. Another, let's see, a Splash. There you go. Splash from 330, Spidey 330, page 6, sold for $50,000, just north of that as well. And then we get into that one particular page, $48,000. So that's the third highest Larson sale in the auction database. And I mean, we could check and see if the dealers have anything different from that. I would assume that Heritage's results would be the highest that we would have, but you never know. Let's see. Asking price, include everybody. All right, yeah, so there you go. The highest dealer sale was a Marvel Age 114 cover sold by Berkey in 2019 for $22,000. And then trading card set, believe it or not. Yeah, so it all drops off after that. So that's the only high ticket item in there. So, but plenty of sales. Well, we got like 6 sales over 20, and the majority of those, well, all of them have happened since March 2020. So yeah, Larson Market is definitely, yeah, Scott, if you don't, I mean, you should. It's all underneath the resources menu. I mean, anybody who's a market data subscriber, it has access to it. Right underneath the resources tab, there's auction market data and dealer market data. Dealer market data is, it only contains the data from dealers whom I host, whose data gets into the CAF for sale database, that then those dealers mark their artwork sold on their site, and I take it out of my database, then I put it into the dealer market database. So we don't, so if a dealer has sales that happen offsite or, that aren't public, we don't get that information. It has to be in my for sale database first, and then marked as sold by a dealer. If I'm just crawling their website, like a Comic Art Factory or Cadence Comic Art, those kind of people that whose sites I don't host, when their stuff gets deleted out of the dealer for sale database that we have, I don't put that into the market data because I don't know why it was removed from their site. I just know it was removed, but I'm only doing it when the dealer physically marks something as sold. Do I put it into the dealer market data that we've got? So, and there's a lot. I mean, you'd be surprised how far back and how much data is in there. I mean, I don't even really check it too often myself, but as far as like historically, but you can see there's almost 80,000 results in the dealer market data, $58 million in sales. Try to have thumbnails for most things. I can tell you, there was a point in time where when dealers would mark stuff as sold and they would delete it, we just deleted everything out of their admin and off their site. But when we started doing dealer market data on CAF, we stopped deleting the thumbnail, so that the thumbnail, as long as it was there, would show up. So you can see sometimes we'll have these blank spots where I don't have the cover image, but we don't have the detail image, unfortunately. We only ever have the thumbnail. So you can't look at it in detail, but at least it gives you an image for a reference point. I completely agree, Scott. We should do a kind of feature on all the the things that you should know how to use on CAF if you've never used them before. But yeah, so there's a lot of dealer data in there, and I don't know, I'd hate to do a blank keyword search on auction market data to see what kind of results are in there. Oh, hey, see, the new SQL Server's fast. We got 558,000 results for $361 million worth of original Comic Art sales data in there. So, you can see we have some data from profiles. I mean, this was the Bernie Wrightson $1 million artwork, but lots of different stuff. Mostly stuff, the data comes from Heritage because they share their data with me. And then we have, we've got eBay data probably back to 2008, 2007, somewhere around in there. So yeah, just definitely lots of good information in there. And for me, you can use that as reference for what art values are. But I look at it as if you're really if you're curious if a piece has ever been on market, the dealer database, market data, and the auction house market data is like the best way to go find out if a page that you're on the hunt for was ever even on the market. And really on the dealer side, I would think anybody who's savvy, you see, Glenn sells a piece, or Will, or Mike, or anybody sells something, even if it was 4 or 5 years ago, that gives you the opportunity to go back and, you could actually say, do you remember who you sold this to? Or even if you won't let me know, would you mind passing along my information to them? So the dealer data is incredibly valued from that standpoint. And I've got data. I know the oldest data I have is from Anthony, because he was one of the first people that was using our programming in the right way. And so I think we've got his data back to like 2006. So, it's very, very deep, and unlike anything you'll ever be able to find anywhere else. Yeah, look under your seat cushions there, Larry. So no, that one was not a record. Surprise, no Kirby this week. Yeah. Well, you never know. But Scott, definitely let me know if you paid for market data and you can't get to it. I mean, that could be a flaw on one of my things over here. But you never know. If you don't have it, and you should, I'll look into it and fix it for you. All right. Is Comic Art live sales info in that DB? No. Comic Art live sales to me are collector sales. I mean, by and large, they're collector sales, right? And I have never felt comfortable listing collector sales. I mean, before Comic Art Live, I mean, in theory, I guess I could, right? Because now we know that something was marked as sold. I could do it. But when things were in the classifieds and moved out, there really is no mechanism to say it's still, went from being available and then sold. There is no flag for something selling. So I've just always avoided reporting on collector to collector sales. So maybe I don't know. I guess I have to think about that. I don't. I mean, now that we're at the $1 million mark in sales, I guess there's some relevant data there. But I'd probably want to make that. Like you'd have to opt into allowing me to put that data in there. I'm not. See, and the more I think about it, the more I don't think I would want to do it. I think everybody sort of likes, as collectors anyway, primarily collectors like their anonymity, except when they make super big purchases. So, all right. Oh, you were using the estimator. Yeah, well, the estimator is fed by the market data, believe it or not. It actually takes the data that, and I bet a lot of people don't even know about the estimator, but the estimator takes data from both the dealer market data and the auction market data and kind of pounds it together. And we spent a long time figuring out an algorithm that worked for published versus unpublished work, but it does pretty well. I mean, on its ranges, it's really good. And if it's a broad term, like if you're just searching for Spider-Man, it's going to be hard. But if you're looking for Spider-Man Romita and you're trying to gauge the value of your artwork, it's going to be a little bit better, at least as far as narrowing ranges down for you and giving you maxes and means and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, market data is where it's at, though, Scott. You got to dive into that, because that's where the real information is on the actual sales. And at least in the auction house market data, we do have large images for the majority of the high ticket items. Even with eBay, when you can only see an image for about 90 days before they remove an auction. My daughter, she's on the CAF HQ team. She actually goes through a couple times a month and goes through the market data like on a 2-week basis and pulls out all the high ticket items and goes out and gets the images for me and uploads them to the system. So the more pricey artwork that sells with eBay, we do try to get a large image so we'll have it for posterity. Heritage did recently ask me to not show the detail page on my site. So when you click on a Heritage result now, it actually take you over to their website. So, and since they're giving me the data for free on a weekly basis, I will do whatever they like. Are dueling dealer sales captured? Well, actually, Tim, they are, believe it or not. Give me away secrets. But yeah, Tim, it sort of depends on the dealer, of course, but I know that Mike Mike doesn't, Mike's been pretty good about doing with Dueling Dealers. He really doesn't do too many art drops on his site anymore. Whenever he gets new art, he does hold on to it and puts it on Dueling Dealers. So he has of late been going back in and adding the artwork after the sale happened and then marking it as sold. So it is going into the market data when he remembers to do it that way. Because if he just goes in and then adds it into it, because he uses his admin for his full accounting, like a lot of the dealers do, because we have reporting in there that they can literally take it and give it to their accountant. And so Mike has to get his sales data into his admin. If he adds a sold item to his admin and has it still listed as for sale, it will get into my for sale database for a second. And then if he changes it to sold, it then gets moved into the market data and out of my for sale data, and then we have it recorded. So it really is all down to whether or not he does that right. That's something like with Felix. Felix was always wondering why his sales weren't getting recorded, and it was because he was doing, say, like when he would sell a complete book, so it never was on his site. He just sold it, without getting to see. No one ever got to see it. So you'll see in the last maybe year and a half where he started listing he'd list the item for literally probably 10 seconds. And then it would then get moved into my market data and then properly recorded for his sales, his sales history in our dealer market data. So, but yeah, but that's good. And everybody kind of knows going into it that they're sharing their data with us in that way, but they get a lot. Clearly, the dealers who work with me get a lot of marketing eyeballs on their work because of the fact that they work with me. So it's a good. It's a good trade-off for us both. We both get something good. Not a lot of people are market data subscribers. Because he leaves them in there for too long. I'll talk to him about that, Dino. He asked me a question about it today, and I really wasn't sure what he was trying to reference. But yeah, I'll find out. He must be adding. I bet you what he does. He probably runs through his list, adds them all, and then maybe goes back and marks them as sold. And in that 5-minute window that we do the want list matches, you're right. He could leave those in there just too long, and then they get slapped into the want list emails. I'm going to make a note of that and ask him to add an item and then immediately mark it as sold after he's done that. So, because I don't want that. We all want good, clean data coming back to us in our want list. I know that I can tell you that he is doing a big update this weekend, and he's gotten in so much art that he was focusing strictly on Dueling Dealers, but I do know that right. Well, that's what. But if he did it quick, if he added it and then as for sale and then marked it sold, it wouldn't happen, because our want list keyword mechanism is actually it's basically a 5-minute routine. Every 5 minutes of the day, I run this routine. I check everybody's. I select any dealer artwork added in the 5-minute window, and then I pound it against everybody's want list keyword list. And if they're premium, it goes out immediately. And then if they're not premium, I'm actually looking at a 4-hour delayed result set. So if he would really add it as for sale and then market sold immediately, that you almost never would have that happen. So I'm going to talk to him about it. All right. No, Ron, okay, I didn't know that. I'm sorry to say I'm not the shopper that I should be, and I'm not watching my want list results, because I can say cover is in my keyword list for want list. It should be in anybody who has a want list should put, if you like covers or splash pages, you should definitely have that as your keyword. Do you listen? I didn't understand, like posting art for the first time as they're being sold. Yeah, that's exactly right. No, but that's good. But these are things so that you guys understand how we handle the data and how that populates your want list and everything. But that's how our want list system works, though. It's a 5-minute check on any new art. It just makes it easy, because typically in a 5-minute window, you're not going to have more than like 30 to 50 pieces of art added by a dealer. So I'm just taking that small set of art results and running it against several thousand keywords that are out there for premium members. There's almost 1,000 premium CAF members now. So At that point, you can have 20, still only 20 keywords. I got to change that to 50, but you can see I don't want to like overwhelm the system. That's why we picked the 5-minute windows to do that. Want list is the best premium feature. I completely agree. That was the coolest thing. That's like the best thing we've added to CAF, the last best thing we've added to CAF. So I've really got Maureen came to me today and she said, I'm out of things to work on with some dealer sites that we're working on. Everybody knows we're working on Catskill's site right now. So she had gotten all of her work done there. And she's like, what do I work on next? And so I gave her, 2 tasks on on CAF to start working on that. We've had kind of on the back burner for way too long. It was, those CAF email updates that we want to do to clean up that whole system, put a search in there. And also the long overdue CSV export of your complete, inventory of what you have on your in your CAF gallery. So that's it's been long overdue. And I know people have told me that it should only be for premium members. I don't know. I think that being able to, anybody who uses CAF should have the ability to pull their CSV file so that they can have a record for it for bookkeeping. And, again, it comes back into all that estate planning too. There's no reason why people should be keeping their data on CAF and then have to keep separate spreadsheets at home. It really should be accessible to everybody. But, you put more features like that out there, and maybe that's the thing that tips some people to be premium. If you start adding in I don't know, you just think they would do it because they should do it. Anyway, I'm not going to talk on that soapbox. Why don't we talk about the popular artwork before doing any more answering other questions about CAF tonight? Because it was an interesting week as far as picking art. I didn't get to be as observant as I would have liked to have been because we were so busy doing the video editing for Billigan that I kind of came into it a little late and missed probably some artwork at the beginning of the week that I shouldn't have. But it was just hard to keep the multiple tabs open of artwork that I liked as I was browsing CAF. But we'll run through those. I believe I picked 16 artworks this week, and the first piece is actually going to be in Felix Liu's collection. So let's start this thing off. First up is a Nexus 7 cover by Steve Rude in Felix's collection. And he said that he really appreciated this one more than an earlier one that he had owned before. And I agree, that's a pretty memorable cover. This next one is in the collection of Jay Sly. This is Stephen Platt. Of course, this is from Prophet number 5, page 1 splash. And Platt's work is unmistakable. You can always see his work and know it immediately. This was posted in Quan's collection, believe it or not. A couple dealers are up front. Amazing Spider-Man, $2.99, page 29, Todd McFarlane and Bob McLeod. Wait a minute, this is another dealer. Now, this was not intentional, everybody. This is in Dave's collection. Maestro Hulk. Artists are Paul Pelletier and Rick Magyar. And this is an amateur dueling dealer. All right, this is not intentional, everyone. I showed this earlier, but this went from Will to Michael Lovitz. Sal Buscema, Avengers 91 cover. This is definitely not a dealer. This is in the collection of Ted Latner. Alan Kupperberg, Peanuts versus the Punisher. I mean, who wouldn't want this in their collection? I'm very jealous, Ted. Next up is an artwork by Terry and Rachel Dodson. This is Black Cat number 5. It's a variant cover, and it's in the collection of Duke Fleeg. This is in Michael 1 Minute Later's collection. Obviously a vintage piece of artwork, as always. Artist is Chester Kozlak. This is from All American Comics, number 73 from 1946. This is from Savage Sword of Conan, number 12. This is a collection of Aaron O, and the artists are John Buscema and Alfredo Alcala. And this is a Spider-Girl 75 cover from 2004. Her first black costume, apparently. This is posted by Paul P. It's Ron Friends and Sal Buscema. A couple Catskill guys. See, there's a dealer tie-in there. And this was just an amazing page. Sandman 23, page 9. Collection of Brett Feshuk. And this is Kelly Jones and Malcolm Jones III. Neil Gaiman writing, of course. And this one's in Dino's collection. Herb Trimpe. This is from Incredible Hulk Annual number 12 from 1983. A little bit of origin information there. recap with the Defenders and the Avengers. Congratulations on that one, Dino. And this is in the collection of Bradley Rader. This is Neal Adams and Tom Palmer from Avengers 95, page 2. This is another Kelly Jones piece. This is from Micronauts issue 2, collection of JL. That last panel is pretty dang cool. And I got 2 more pieces here. This is in the collection of Jim Reed, Michael Kaluta here, and this is a shadow cover. Didn't say on it what issue it was from, though, so I'm not sure, but it's a beauty. And finally, Dinesh rocks the CAF world once more. This is a Graham Nolan Scott Hanna piece, Detective Comics 666 from the Nightfall series. This was part 18. So Dinesh just keeps adding to his amazing collection. He would be somebody I should try to get on the show sometime. I'll send him an email. He just renewed his premium membership recently, so I should get in touch with him and see what we can do. Birth page of Venom, right, Jordan? So, yes, Aaron made the list. Yes, very much so. And completely agree about that Sandman page. Absolutely amazing. Yeah. We don't get to see enough of that kind of artwork on CAF. Unfortunately, I wish there was more of it. And let's see. Dinesh would be great. Exactly. I'll shoot him an email and see if we can work that out. I know he has probably got one heck of a crazy schedule, but if I could get him on the show, that would be pretty fun. That would be a very good conversation there. So let me think here. Other than that, I think I've kind of covered everything that I wanted to go over. I don't think it's, unless anybody has anything special that on CAF that I could convey as far as any of the, whether the market data is always interesting, because honestly, there's only like 100 and I think maybe 170 people. No, it's got to be 190 or so now. So just under 200 people subscribe to market data. So it's crazy that I have this vast amount of data and nobody knows about it. Premium members actually do get 6 months of the auction data. So if you're premium and you are just curious what's in the market data, you don't get the dealer market data. But if you're a premium member, you also can search the last 6 months of the auction market data. And eBay gets updated once a week. And with Heritage, I import their data whenever they have an auction that ends. So their Monday auction gets imported every Tuesday. I believe that when they have a signature auction, I don't get the import files until Monday, even when it ends on Sunday afternoon typically. So those would probably be imported on Tuesdays as well. So that's kind of the cycle we're on. But premium members do get access to 6 months worth of that information, and you should use it, utilize it for that. I mean, I wish I could give you more, but it's just something that we have to maintain. I can't give it away for free, but there's there's a lot of good information in there, and people are always asking me, it's like, how else can you support me? Well, that would be another way to do it, right? Even if you're not going to use it a lot, feel free to become a market data subscriber. And somehow at some point there's some stuff on YouTube that allows me to do kind of like I don't want to call it they call it like memberships or something. I don't really know. Or we can do different stuff over there. And if people want to like set and forget being able to buy me a coffee once a month, I think there's a way for that to be done in YouTube. But I just haven't had a chance to look at it. My kids tell me about it, but now that we're kind of at where it's really kind of crazy. Since the beginning of May, our subscriber list has really skyrocketed. And I think I should owe Nick a coffee after all the work that he does to get the likes on here, because those kinds of things really get the Comic Art Live shows out there. But we're over 1,730 or 40 subscribers now, and that's just crazy because I think we passed 1,000 in March. So it's just been really ramping up a lot. Can we filter out Inquire? Let me think. Now, so you're saying on your want list, can we filter out dealers who put Inquire, accept offers, anything that doesn't? You only want things that have a price or the field's numeric. I'd have to look at that because it's more of a keyword only based search, but I might be able to do that. I'll look into it. That's always a Maureen. She's the brains, I'm the ideas, but like we always say, we built everything by hand. Never bought nothing store bought. We coded everything on CAF and everything for the dealers 100% on our own, so that, because the intent is that somebody should be able to come to me with an idea and there's no way we couldn't do it, because everything's ours. I mean, we know everything from the ground up. So you can't propose something that we can't do. So I should just say, yeah, Dina, we can do that. I'm sure there's a way. Maureen might scratch her head trying to figure out how do I exclude it for one user's set of keywords in a 5-minute want list mailing, but that's for her to figure out. But use it all the time. Yeah, there you go. That's why I renewed and added the market data. Right. Well, that's just it. And I don't know. I get people asking, how do you, it's back to, I get asked a lot now about being able to like tip or add more. How can I pay $100 when I resubscribe? But we never wanted that. I always wanted it. I didn't want to have donations or those sorts of things. I wanted just services and support and that kind of thing. So, I don't think that kind of that'll ever be a part of the offering that we have on there. But if you but by subscribing to both, that gives us an extra $75, and it does help. If everybody knows Colin is full time on CAF now. I've had him full time since last summer, so it's coming on a year now, and I wanted to make sure I took care of him, and we'd worked together before, so that was a big risk for me to take, and I brought the new hire is actually my son, but he's it's good to get somebody in there early like that, so I'm not to pay him a ton, but it's still not going to be cheap. And what I told him is, like, you work for me for 2 years, you will be able to write your ticket to do anything you want in the marketing world, because he's going to be helping me on everything from the dealer site redesigns to new work, to work on CAF, to the video editing, to helping me out on the Comic Art Live channel. So I'm going to be working him to death, and that's what I told him. I'm like, I don't expect you to work for me forever. He just graduated college. His last class was a couple weeks ago, so he's going to get a really good experience, working for me, and it'll be good for me, because he and I worked together on the whole Billigan's Island episode, and being creative, having gone through all this graphic design courses and things, he actually directed like the gorilla bit. He put all that together, and aside from the audio being a little loud when the gorilla was charging, I thought it was great. It was probably the most fun bit that was in there, and he did the river episode too. So he's going to be good once he gets a little more experience underneath his belt. I think he'll probably take over doing some of the scripting and things that we do on Dueling Dealers, because he'll be the one assembling the memes and things that we do. And I agree. Yes, everybody knows. I mean, we don't put these things out there often enough, reminders about the features that are there. That's why I really like the want list, because it was something that I could constantly remind you of things going on with CAF that was relevant to what you wanted. And challenge accepted now. That if you can afford to go, I know. Yeah, Nick, that is, it's, I really don't know what to say, because Nick's been a great supporter on everything that we've done on Comic Art Live, and he's an advertiser on CAF as well. And so, for us, it's just, I'm just having a good time with it, and I'm glad everybody else is hanging out and doing it as well. And the moderators make big bucks too. Yeah, maybe one day. At any rate, we've been at this for about an hour, and you guys it's so impressive. I can't believe how many people turn out to watch me talk on a Friday evening. We can have a pie sale too. Oh man, like I said, that was a lesson learned. My daughters thought it was great, but because they were the ones who wanted to do it. But yeah, we're going to do that differently next time. I'm not going to be wearing like my good pants, and if I am, I'm going to have a towel over my lap before that happens again. But anyways, so I hope everybody has a great weekend. I will be on with the collectors on Sunday night at 9 p.m. So you get to have one whole day without hanging out here on the channel. And I think that the weather is going to be great in most places in the country. So I hope you get out and enjoy the weekend. And other than that, let's please feel free to hit me up with questions about these things. I'm always happy to answer them. I tend to get 5 or 6 inquiries on how stuff works every day, and if you run into something that doesn't seem to work right, or you can't seem to make it work the way you think it should, let me know. And it could be a bug on our side, or it could just be that you have to flip the switch to make that actually do what it should be doing. So but and you may have an idea to improve something. I always tell people you work with blinders on when you do a project like this for 18 years. You just keep thinking that you're doing what everybody wants, but you forget about all these things on either side that could have made it better. So always hit me with ideas. It doesn't bore me or make me mad when somebody says, I think you could have done this better, because in most cases you're probably right. I really could have. So anyways, all right, I'm going to call it a night. And again, I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and just chill. Everything's great in my world. Everybody's happy, and I couldn't be more thrilled with where we're at with all the stuff that we're doing on Comic Art Live right now. And I can tell you that I don't have any new shows in the that are kicking around in here right now. So I think we've hit a really good sweet spot with the level of content. One of the things that I showed everybody who were in the collector show last week, at the end of the show, we were just talking about, everybody was curious, do people really watch the collector show? I would say that what I brought up and showed everybody, and I even showed here, what the heck, why not one last thing? Because it's really unique that I know, here I'm talking, I'm a collector, I'm talking to everybody who's a collector, and really the shows that are most popular, and Nick, this is good for you to know too. I'll show you, because I have a big data segment that I get to look at on YouTube just because of the views and stuff that that I have. But the most popular stuff on the channel is all collector content after the Dueling Dealers. Now, Dueling Dealers is clearly the most popular thing, but I'll pull this up here for you. And right there. So just stat wise, this is like looking at a 30-day window. I mean, what's the most popular show on the Comic Art Live channel? And their stats are behind. I know there's more than 1,500 views on that. But what's the most popular thing? It's a collector Dueling Dealer episode. It's not the dealers. So, but then you get the deal. You got the Saturday show that we did for the Europeans is the second one, and a couple other Dueling Dealer episodes, and then boom, what's next? The collector conversations, and not one but two and three in our top 10, and then in the Scott Williams interview as well. So really, what drives this channel is you. It's the collectors. You want to see more things that revolve around collectors and how they, I think, handle themselves in the hobby, handle themselves on a live stream, and I think that's it was a revelation for me to see that, like about a week ago, that I noticed that the collector shows are really that popular and important to everybody. So I think if we really considered branching out in any direction with another show, I think we'd want to focus on another, something collector related. Not sure what that would be, because we're doing such a great job on the current collector show that we really don't need to emulate or duplicate the work being done there. But I think that anything that we do would have a collector focus. Yeah, because I like all the stuff I do. I like the interviews I do with Will, Glenn, and Mike, but they're not the most popular, and there's for no real reason other than the fact that people want to see collectors talking. Even less than me. I mean, other than the Scott Williams interview. You don't see a lot of the other chats. I mean, they're all well viewed, but what's the hottest items are getting those collector interactions going on. And really, you think about Dueling Dealers too, it's really popular because all of the collectors are in the chat having a good time. So once again, it's really what brings the collectors together, and it's other collectors. And so that's the thing that I take away from doing this channel now, and is realizing that it really is it's really not about me or anybody else that I put on screen. It's about all of you. So I really look forward to your input on how we can take this in a different direction or just expand on the things that we can offer. But just so you know, I mean, I always knew it. I knew it was always about the desire of the collectors out there, but seeing it in raw data really just hits home and makes me realize where we got to take this. So, yep, Nick, can't wait for the Tatiana episode as well. And, all right. Well, anyways, I'm going to call it, I like to open up Mike Night. Scott, I like that too. And I thought that we almost we almost had another one on Thursday when we were having those problems with Sean initially, but that might be something fun to do, but as a scheduled thing, because I think that, you know, doing an open mic night and letting everybody know that that's what we're going to do and cap it, and however, you know, the first X number of people that get in, then sorry, just reading through the chat. Yeah, that would be the way to go. Would be to cap it at the 6 people or so. I can't. We had like 5 in that one, but I tell you, I was so tired that night right before Comic Art Lab. I barely remember that show, but it was fun. It was very unique to get everybody in there spontaneously and just start talking. And I think that we could definitely do something like that, you know, at least once a month or something, just to see how it goes. Evan better stuff. There you go, Marcus. I hear you. I hear you. You know, I remember I am in the middle of everything. I love everybody. I love collectors. I love dealers. I love it. You know, all the auction houses. Everybody. I am. I don't know. I'm the melting pot of everybody in the hobby. So I get along with everybody, and that's what makes it fun, though, because not everybody gets to. It's a unique position to be in, where I kind of answer to everybody, and I get to be friends with everybody, but, you know, blessing and curse, you know, in certain ways, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because I get to hang out with all of you. And I mean, I'm looking forward to the Heritage Chat on Tuesday. I mean, I don't get asked to do something like that, you know, where they came to me and they're like, we want our time on the show, and, you know, we want to be able to do this, and we've seen other people do that, and we want to talk about the hobby. Well, how often do you get an opportunity like that? So I was like, wow, yeah, just tell me when, sign me up. I'm going to be there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody comes up with. So, thank you, Dino. Yeah, there we go. Alfredo was awesome. You were Alfredo. That was the coolest spontaneous thing that we've probably done in the show, was the tour of your man cave. So you can do dueling show. It's kind of, you know, Philip, it was so funny. I hate to keep talking and keeping you guys here, but Philip just said on Facebook, so not everybody on YouTube can see. He says, once the cons come back, you can do dealer shows at the cons with an audience. I actually said that to Mike. I'm like, you and Anthony should just get a booth side by side, and we could do even just like a 3-round thing. It'll be funny. You know, maybe we could even get a panel, you know, do it as a panel, right? So we don't like get people piling up in the aisle or something like that. And Mike's like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to be on. I wouldn't want to be, if I'm not online where everybody else can bid. That wouldn't be fair to do it at a show. I'm like, it's not. You know, it's not like we're doing a whole episode, Mike. I was like, we're just bring 3 pieces. We'll just do a little mini thing for fun. It'd be hilarious to see that all of us actually together doing a sale, whether we did it in Anthony's booth at New York Comic Con, or we found a way to have a panel because we were at a smaller show or something. I know. I'm sorry, Nick. You know how I am. But I thought it would be really fun. I am a kid in the candy store. But, you know, but he was like adamant. He's like, no. I want to have my 300 people watching me. And I'm like, Mike, come on, it's not about that. We're here to have a good time. So I'll have to work on him for that, because I think it would be the funniest thing. You know, because back in the Big Wow days, we would have we would have our own panel hall, real easy to do a chat about comic art fans. You know, Brian Peck was always great. He lined everything up for me every year. And if I could get into a show like that, you know, get the heroes and maybe pitch them on letting me do a 30-minute dueling dealer episode live in front of people, that'd be hilarious. I mean, I think that would be so much fun. And I just got to convince Mike of it, because he was like, no, I'm never going to do it. So I hear you on that one. And Brian Peck is a great guy. He does the best of with me. I mean, I don't know how many years we've been doing that together now on CAF, but it's all because of Brian. If Brian didn't kind of nudge me along, gently all these years, we wouldn't have had the best of. And he's, we need more people like that in the hobby that want to be engaged in those kinds of things that kind of, force me to do things that I might not do on my own. So having Brian around all the time has been a real benefit to me. So yeah, he's somebody I definitely, appreciate. And yes, it would be a doozy, Rich, to do something like that. We'll work it out. We'll definitely work it out. I am looking forward to getting back to shows, though. I really am. And I'm looking forward to to hopefully being able to do some of these things in in live panels at shows. I'd like to think that, given all the work that we've done this last year and I've gotten my feet wet now with talking to a large audience, even though I don't get to really see you guys. I think I'd like to do that. I'd like to talk more about the hobby in person at shows, because like Nick, I mean, I'd like to grow the hobby a little bit. I want to spread the good word about original art collecting. We don't need any more competition in the hobby, but I do think that the artwork needs to be appreciated more than, we have a medium that is a visual and it's a reading, mixed in, of course. But at the end of the day, I just don't, I know that not everybody who enjoys comics enjoys the art. And as I've told you guys several times in the past, I buy comics a lot just for the art. If I really like the cover, I like the interior art. I might not be buying it for the story, but I tend to gravitate to the artwork in those books. So that's what I did when I was a kid too. I mean, that's how I never bought DC, and then I saw Perez doing Crisis and the Teen Titans, and I bought those books just for that reason. But there you go. No, the show will not stop once cons are back. Everybody keeps thinking that that's how it's that may or may not happen. But I can tell you that this show is not going to stop. You figure our shows are mostly weekday anyway, so any con is primarily going to be on a weekend, and so I don't feel that this is in conflict in any way with that. And there's no reason for the Dueling Dealers show to really change. I can't even see where we'd have to say, oh, we might have to evolve the price levels to something a little bit lower because people are going to be spending money on the weekends. So, that I don't see that ever happening, just because I think that we've created something that it should have been around for last several years, right? I mean, if Dueling Dealers has been around for 4 years, we'd all still be watching it. I'd still be hosting it, and it would be bigger and better than ever. So it would have worked just as fine with cons or without cons. I think that there's a lot of concern about these, just in general, these claim sales and the live streams going on, that they're just going to stop. But I think that we found a different way to hang out, and I don't think that these are going to go away for anybody. Nick's channel and the EXP has got staying power. He's definitely. It's tough. It's a tough grind to like build an audience and things like that. But it's well worth it, and it's not going to go away. So, but we will get more new people hopefully and keep growing this site. I agree. Yeah, I mean that's the end goal for Omnipotent. I know. I'll tell you, we just laugh all the time here with the the Dave Butts and the Omnipotent and the homage. Mike really thought it was homage, if you can believe that. I mean, the man's 56 years old, and he's always pronounced it as homage. So as long as I've known him, and if it wasn't for Dueling Dealers, we would never have given him a hard time to actually pronounce it the right way. So that's what makes it fun. It's we don't take ourselves too seriously, even though we're doing something serious. Selling original artwork and having a good time and actually giving deals. I mean, that's what makes that show so darn fun. Is just all those things combined, and it's fun to watch Anthony smile, isn't it? I mean, you never get to see him smile in person. So maybe Jason does every once in a while when he buys a nice expensive piece of art off of him. But it's tough to get him to smile, and you actually see him smile. That's so cool. Anyway, I am calling it a night now. I got to call it a night. I want to just relax and chill. So. Again, hit me up with emails if you have any questions about features on the site that you don't get. Please, everybody should be plugged into the want list. If you don't have a want list, just throw some keywords in there just to see what will happen. If everybody likes something, just throw the word cover in there and watch what happens if you don't have any want list keywords. Want list management is underneath your admin menu. Put a couple keywords in there if you're premium or not, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at the results. It is the best thing that Maureen and I have dreamt up. Since I don't even know, to me it's like since I came up with premium memberships and the daily keyword alert. So get in there and use it. So I know Hammond sounds like I agree, Dino. I totally agree. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in as always. I look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday evening with our collector conversations at 9 p.m. Eastern. Remember, I know that we'll have 3 other topics, but Carl's topic of estate planning It's definitely one that you're not going to want to miss. So please tune in live if you can. If not, you got to watch it when it's when you can afterwards. But it's going to be a show that I think that's really important for all of us. So I hope you tune in for that. And again, thanks to everybody, and thank you, Dino, for always making the Collector Conversation images. He is a magician, and I believe he does all that in PowerPoint. Something I never was good at. I only use Photoshop, but he is a wizard with that tool. So with that, I will bid you all adieu and have a wonderful Saturday. I'll see you on